window closes. So it closes on the Saturday. Within 5 weeks after that, maybe the Monday after that, they're just going to think whether Friday, Saturday or Monday is the best day to release results. But it will be around 5, no later than 5 years, might be shorter than that, but at which the results will be finished. And therefore people will, hopefully, be in the mood to move on and start taking objective test exams at the next level. Or they may have made themselves eligible to retake the case study. A wonderful phrase that a student once told me. Phoned up and told me, I've just got my results and I am eligible for a retake. I congratulated her. I thought this was good news at first. And I stopped and went, oh no. Anyway, look, I'll come back to a little bit on the markings and we'll just have a quick scan through some of the practice tests in a short while. I just wanted to go through and just see whether there are any questions. It's the same set of slides I went through in Feb. Nothing has changed in terms of what students will be doing as they switch from the 2010 syllabus to 2015. I don't know, again, there was a number of questions that we had over late February, March, early April, and it sort of seems to have gone quiet since then. People have made their choices on what exams they're going to be doing in November. So, I'm working on the principle that no news is good news, and people do understand what's happening in here. But again, if I just quickly scan through what we had there, if there's any questions, if there's any bits that you're unclear of, please do ask. So we're clear that everything that they've got a credit for, whether it's a pass or an exemption, they'll get a credit likewise in 2015. So E1 equates to E1, etc. through there. The one that I think I probably should have slowed down on when we first released it was the level stuff, saying that if you've got by hook or by crook, by exemption or by passing, if you've got E1, P1 and F1, that's operational level complete, which in 2015 includes the operational case study, yes? So you'd be moving on to management. Likewise for management level, E2, P2, F2, all complete means you're moving on to strategic, but at strategic level, E3, P3 and F3 mean that you've still got a case study to do. Yeah? So that's all fine. So that means I won't go through that lot in detail. And the other bit, just to, okay, this is the other bit that caused a lot of fun back in February and March. Statistically, it shouldn't affect a huge number of people, but the one where we've got the waiver, remember that one? Saying that somebody who's in this position has passed 2 of the 3 operational level subjects or papers in the current syllabus. They've passed 2, 3rd one is outstanding. They've got the option to bypass the 3rd exam and move straight into the case study. Okay? Now, after an initial flurry of what's this all about then types of questions from students and tutors, to be fair, but mainly students, who sounded like they were trying to plan. This waiver sounds like a good thing. I want one of those. Never had one of those before. So we've clarified, I hope we've clarified what's going in there. And the message that I've given to anyone who's asked about that, at least since July, is to say, look, if you went for this, you would be taking an operational level case study early 2015. Now, take a look at the operational practice test, practice case study we've got, right? Do you think you have sufficient knowledge and ability in, let's say, rather than E1, this we're talking about somebody who's still got P1 to go, yeah? Would you be able to talk confidently about activity-based management without looking at P1? I doubt it. Yeah? Maybe F1 based on that variant, but maybe the next variant will come up differently and say, yes, you need to have that confidence and the ability in that subject. So, you know, I think we've been able to show people that this waiver is not to be taken lightly. If you're going to, if you're going to have, so if you end up with one paper outstanding, doesn't matter which one it is, but just by this diagram, E1 is outstanding. Right. If a student comes to me and says, I am eligible for a waiver, right? There's two reasons they might be eligible for that waiver. They might have never looked at a book on E1, but they've looked at the other two and passed them. That's one reason. The other one is they studied for it, attempted it in November, and were unlucky. Yeah? Now, the first one, I'd say to the student, that's a bit scary. Yeah? The very least you should do before taking the case study, if you want to take the waiver, but you're going to have to study, or you're going to have to read a book on E1, or sit in a classroom for an E1 course, not taking that E1 exam if you don't want to. Yeah? So you've got a clear knowledge gap in there, and you will struggle with the operational case study. If somebody has attempted and failed our current E1, then I suppose there's a grey line somewhere between the two, but there's a bad fail and there's a marginal fail. If somebody scored 45%, I'd say they've got reasonable knowledge, maybe poor exam technique, yeah, maybe poor application or something that's in there. Yeah? So if somebody came to me with a 45% score, I'd say, well, probably don't put yourself through it again just to try and get 5 more marks. Put yourself through a case study and just make sure that you brush up on those topics a little bit harder in the E1 than in the other topics, the other subjects. Yeah? But if somebody's come back and they've got 15%, yeah, basically means they've written their name and you put your question numbers in the right order or something like that, then yeah, you'd want them to take the revision of this topic seriously, and I'd want them to show competence in that topic before they move on. Yeah? Is it time for a break? Yeah. Yes. Okay, so just in terms of transition, 2010 to 2015, are there any issues that people been asking you questions and I've not dealt with?
I just want to say that 2 classes, P1 and F1, the student cleared. However, the student has not seen P1. Let's say he or she failed the paper. So which means in 2015, the student is expected to recollect his or her memory on P1, F1, and the failed E1.
Yeah.
Go back to clear that level. Am I right to say that?
Yes. Yeah. So sorry. And then it doesn't matter which ones you do. That's just this diagram. The passes end up here. So it's not just E1. It could be the passes, any combination of 2. So yeah. This person has got passes in these 2. But we'll have to do the case study.
Which means all 3 are back in the integrated case.
Yes.
So how is the student not disadvantaged on that sense?
How is the student not disadvantaged? Well, it's the reason that the waiver was introduced was to say that, you know, we don't want to over-assess and put people in front of exams too much. Now, you know, it's
knowing our students.
I agree with you. It's not neutral.
Whether the student is going to be remembering E or anyone and F1.
Yeah. Now remember the bit I think is good compared with going forward is that when the person has done the 2010 syllabus exams, they've done calculate these variances and explain what they need. So they've learned it in the context that will help them do the case study. Yes, you do have to remember what you passed, but the way in which you're examined is much like you won't have a question that asks you to do all the calculations. Remember, the case study is not going to have prepare a balance sheet or prepare, you know, so it's not going to have that intricate detail, demonstrate the knowledge in the same way as we've got just now. But it's well, can you remember what's good about it? If you look at the practice test, can you remember what's good about activity-based costing? So don't take these overheads and drivers and calculate the cost per unit, but just remember that what you've done is split costs in a way that helps you manage your business, it helps you understand profitability. When you've got complex production processes and a range of products, it gives you a more realistic. So if you can remember that, that's good. So yes, you might have to review it, but it's a quicker review. Yeah.
And knowledge of B1 compared to
That's not going to happen.
So now we're talking about the operation case study with remembering what they've already passed and not being taught B1 and F1 again. So I'm just wondering how is it going to be on the tutors?
Yeah,
Are
so
we going to teach the subjects all over again or just B1?
no, well, remember your case study class is going to be made up of a mixture of people. Some of whom might have waited until 2015 and taken 3 objective tests. Some of whom might be in this position. Some of them who've only done 1, then took objective test. So yeah, your class is going to have to include an element that says the technical content, the technical skills quadrant for the F is this, but it shouldn't be a case of reteaching this. When you look at the case studies, it's how do you use it? Some definitions, what is activity-based cost, what's different about activity-based costing and absorption costing. So, and the other thing just to be aware of is it's something within our production line is that there are gaps. There are syllabus gaps now. Somebody who's done P1 has done net present value analysis. Now, that's not going to be in the operational case study because that's in management. Somebody who's done P1 hasn't done short-term decision making, which is a bizarre way to run syllabus. But they've not done relevant costs. How you can do net present value without relevant costs. But you're going to have to just remind them that, remember, so in our production pipeline, there is a syllabus gap document, which I think it was signed off this week. So yeah, I'll mention all the stuff that's coming out later on. Okay, good question. Right, time for a break. 15 minutes? Yeah.
So, okay, we have the 15 minutes break for a while, comfort break, so we'll be back here. Now it's about, there's no watch here, so it's about 11:10 to about 11:25. I think that's my gauge. Okay, so don't worry, just I think there's coffee and tea outside. Right? Thank you.
Next only thing I want to ask you, where did you
The advice is don't take a paper, take a glass paper. But you take a glass paper instead. So it's